All right. So I forgot to record my or for some reason my class this morning at Citrus didn't record, and so I'm going to record this one, and unless there's some sort of rule against it or somebody objects, I'm going to also post the video at Citrus College. So there might be people that you don't know are watching this. So if there's any problem with that, you can like discuss it with me after class. Okay, so the other class that I did today, I made everybody go around and introduce themselves and tell us something interesting about yourself. And it took like an hour and 15 minutes. So I don't want to do that. So I would appreciate it if you go to Canvas and under discussions, if you put, just introduce yourself. And, most of you have done this already. Tell us something interesting about you and, what you're studying. And then you're free to like comment, and interact with each other. I know that like me saying that is kind of like a weird, like forced melding. But I know all of this is awkward. All of it's awkward. So if you just jump in there and start interacting with people and really just engage, you'll be fine. And it's a big part of your grade. It's the easiest thing you can do to improve your grade, and that's to participate. One of the things that Canvas does is it actually records how many interactions that you have, and which is crazy to me. It's a little bit like Big Brother, but from my perspective, it keeps track of your engagement. So I do look at that. I don't grade by it, but I do look at it. And you can kind of guess like, and maybe you've even heard that I'm super easy. Like my classes, like I grade really easy. The class itself isn't easy because the things I make you do and the things I make you think about are pretty difficult and heady, right? But so I'll stay on you and I'll sound like a nag. And but in the end, I grade pretty easy because the grades are, to me, it's sort of arbitrary and I don't really care what you get, so I might as well give you a good grade. Okay, so the class itself, there's really one rule, right? And the one rule is very simple. Does anybody want to guess what it is? It's sort of like, in the chat, I see something. Oh, okay, thanks. Thank you, sir. The one rule in my class is it's just to be considerate. Just be nice. That's the one rule, be nice and think about others, right? So if you can get that part down, all the other rules, all the other things sort of fall into place, So if you're like consistently late, right? That's not really considerate. It's not really considerate to your classmates. It's not really considerate to me. And also, there's one thing that I would like to nip in the bud right now, and that is, this is how it works. So on these Zoom meetings, what happens is like, oh, it's cool if I'm like 2-3 minutes late because that's when the class starts. Okay, so then the next class, it's about 3 minutes longer than that. And then the next class, it's about 5 minutes longer. And by the third or fourth class, people are just coming in like 15 minutes late, 20 minutes late, half an hour late. So I like to start right on time. That way we can finish sooner and do our own thing. Okay, so actually, there's another rule. There's two rules. Okay, so the second rule is, and don't laugh because it's serious. It's dead serious. No Hello Kitty. No Hello Kitty. No Hello Kitty. The reason is because my wife is one of those adult Hello Kitty fanatics. And so it's not so bad now because we moved, but in our last house, we had a Hello Kitty carpet, we had a Hello Kitty shower curtain, Hello Kitty toilet seat cover, a Hello Kitty CD player, a Hello Kitty lamp, and I'm not exaggerating, we had a Hello Kitty toaster that would actually burn an image of Hello Kitty into the toast, right? So that's my life in general. So when I go to work, which is now it's the same place, I just don't want to see more Hello Kitty, right? Very recently, she's joined the army, the BTS army. Do you guys know about this? Okay. All right. So I've heard Dynamite, I don't know, when did it come out? Like 2 days ago? I've heard Dynamite, I don't know, maybe 65 times. It's insane. Anyway, you'll hear it. You can't help but hear it. It's coming. And, you know, hopefully you enjoy it. Okay, so that's the rule. Be nice. You know, considerate, and no Hello Kitty. That's the two rules, okay, for the class. All right, so why don't we start? So one thing about this class is that a number of you have emailed with kind of concerns like, I've never taken a 3D class. I don't, you know, all my training is in like drawing and painting. There's even a couple of you that have never taken an art class. And what I can tell you is you've come to the right place, because most of you have never taken a 3D class before. So that's relatively common. And even if you've never had an art class before, this is where to start, because I start with the most basic elements and principles of 2D design, and then we build up from there. So most of you have never, you know, well, I'll just say a lot of you have never worked with your hands and built stuff and made stuff. And I will say that that's definitely an advantage, but it's not necessary. And this class is designed for people that have never used an X-Acto in their knife or never had pliers in their hands ever, right? So we start with the basics, you know, sort of physically, but then also academically, we start with the basics too. You know, we just start flat and then we build our way up. And then, with that thought, I want to ask you something. And let's see, I want to try and unmute everybody. I don't think I can do that. You have to unmute yourselves. So please do that until we get somebody that's super noisy. So far, so good. Okay. Okay, good. All right, so let me ask you guys, why are you taking, besides there's some answers that I'm expecting already, but why are you taking this class? I know for a lot of you, it's required in your major, right? I know there's always the answer like, well, because I want to learn, right? And so, but why 3D design specifically? Why are you taking this class? What do you think the benefit would be?
I can learn the 3D space better.
Okay. And was that, who was that? That
Me.
was, okay. That's right. I mean, that's sort of the beginning of it. Why else? Think career-wise. What could you learn in this class? Or, you know, what professions could you use 3D design in? Dom, go ahead.
I think you could probably use it in like most art professions. Like if you start to build things on a smaller 3D scale, then eventually you'll learn to build them on a bigger 3D scale.
That's right. Okay, so just that thought, like building stuff, how can what kind of things can you apply that to? So I'll give you the first one, right? Because I'm a sculptor. So 3D design, of course, can help a sculptor. But who else can it help?
Architecture.
Exactly. Now we're on the right track. Sculpture,
Character designing.
What's that?
Like character designing on 3D model, like an app, like Blender or ZBrush.
Okay, that there's a jump there, but we'll get to that. Yeah. So, because that
Most of the industrial designs.
very good. Yeah.
Interior design, furniture design.
Exactly, and especially furniture design, because that's what I'm doing right now. Like in my garage, I'm building a credenza. So if you're into furniture design, I'm right there with you. So those are all, and interior design. There's quite a few people. So hey, Kevin, can you mute? Because I think we're getting feedback.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right. So, so basically, especially at Pasadena, we're getting a lot of interior designers, and so just because the program, if you're studying interior design at Pasadena, you are in the right spot because the design program and the teachers that are in the program are first rate, and so. You know, if you have a class or if you've had a class with Heather Kersey, she's just brilliant. And so Pasadena, you know, either by luck or research, you've come to the right place if you're studying interior design. Also, I'm studying interior design because I may teach it in the future, but that's a different story. So I'm also kind of, if you're studying interior design, I'm also on the same page. Okay, so what I would like you guys to do now is we're gonna sort of talk about the practicality of 3D design, but I want you to sort of bear with me and do this exercise. So Kevin, you probably can't do this exercise because are you driving? Or...
No, I'm not driving. I'm on the passenger seat.
Oh, okay. Then maybe you can do this. All right. So what I'd like,
sorry about that.
what I'd like everybody to do is just get a piece of paper and draw. Okay, so I'm gonna switch to the whiteboard, hopefully. Okay, can you guys see that?
Yeah.
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 All right. So back in the, I believe in the 30s, there was a guy, yeah, in the 20s and the 30s, because he was, Malevich was a Um, suprematist. Okay, I'm sorry to ask you this. Now could you mute, maybe I'll just mute everybody. Or just mute yourself. So back in the 20s and 30s, Malevich, Kazimir Malevich was a Russian painter, and this group of Russian painters were called suprematists, right? Okay, do not get that confused with supremacists. Those are a bunch of racists from the South. I don't think Malevich was a racist from the South. He was a suprematist painter. And the difference is the suprematist painters were, you know, this group, and I'm not saying the difference between the supremacists, the difference between the suprematist and other types of artists and painters was that they were pretty self-assured. In other words, they thought that their idea of painting was correct. They thought that if you put a circle or a square inside a picture plane, that there was a correct spot depending on what you were trying to say. So for example, let's see. So for example, Malevich said, okay, if you're trying to create a dynamic composition, and just to go back a little, dynamic means it shows energy, it shows anti-gravity, it shows movement, right? Implied movement. It's exciting. Dynamic is unexpected, right? So Malevich said, hey, there's a dot. If you have a dot, there's a correct place in the square to place that dot in the most dynamic spot, okay? So I want you to do this. I want you to draw that square on your piece of paper, and then I want you to like put the dot in the square somewhere where it's most dynamic. And I'll give you a hint, it's not in the middle. That's the least dynamic, okay? So I'll give you a second to do that, and then I'm gonna go back to the screen. Also, when you do this, be ready to back it up. In other words, be able to answer why you put the dot in the particular spot. Okay, so you know, with the mirror technology, I'm not sure if this is going to work, but now I want you to put your drawing up to the camera so I can see where you put the dot. Okay, no, that's wrong. That's wrong, 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 wrong. Oh, wait, that one's right. Brianna, or Bria, right? Okay, Bria. So Bria is in the correct spot. Do you see that? All right. So Bria, can you tell us why you put it there instead of any place else?
I don't know. The diagonal made sense because it's like an angle.
Okay. That's it?
Just guessed.
Okay, it's just a guess. Well, that was a really good guess. Because, back to the whiteboard. Okay, so, wow, can I move this thing? No, of course not. That would have been too easy. Oh, I can move it. I can move it. And this thing, can I erase it? Wow, all right. Okay, so the correct spot for the dot is kind of in the upper right-hand corner. And the reason it's there, well, there's lots of reasons. One reason is because often when we look at a picture plane, we subconsciously or even consciously put in a horizon, right? And if we're talking about being dynamic and interesting, it's going to be above the horizon so that it's kind of like showing energy, like it's flying, right? It's anti-gravity. It's floating up here, all right? Okay, so why not in this why not in this area here? Any guesses?
I have a guess.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Is it perspective? Perspective.
No, not quite.
Because it would be moving downwards.
Also not quite, but somewhere in between there, there's the right answer.
It's 3D object. Like,
Nope. Think about being expected or unexpected. Dom, did you have a guess?
Yeah, my guess is because we like read left to right, so we
That's
would
exactly
expect
right.
it to be there.
Thank you. Yes. It's because when we look at a page, especially in Western culture, we look top left automatically. That's where we start. That's where we've been trained to start. That's where we look on a page first. So to put it there would be a little bit expected, right? So, and by the way, there's a lot of this, or even, I don't know, there's a lot of this that I don't agree with. This is just sort of formal theory, right? Okay, so, you know, because like in Japanese culture, they don't start up here, right? They start down here. So that would be the most expected spot. So we've eliminated these three, you know, areas. And why wouldn't I move it? Now can I move it? Gosh, no. All right. Why wouldn't I put it here? Or here? Or here? Or here? Why
Not a
wouldn't I
focal.
say that again?
It's not a focal point.
Right. That's true, but it's also what else is happening.
There's not enough space around it.
Yeah. Who said that?
Rachel.
Okay, Rachel, that's right. So there's not enough space. And this gets into the weeds a little bit at looking at art. But we as humans, we project our personal space onto things we're looking at, right? Okay, here's an example of your personal space. Say, for example, you go into a movie theater and the movie theater is empty. It's all yours. You walk in, you can sit anywhere you want, right? And you go and sit down, you got your popcorn, and you pick an area way off to the left, you know, and somewhere in the middle, and you're like, great, I have the whole theater to myself, right? And the movie theater is about to start, and a stranger, somebody you don't know, walks into the theater, looks around, has the whole rest of the theater to like go and sit down, but he doesn't. He comes and he sits exactly next to you. Okay, so what happened? Now, how do you feel about that? Okay,
Freaked out.
Confused.
Comfortable.
very good. Freaked out, uncomfortable. So what this person did is he he came too high in proximity. That's a weird way to say it, but he basically got too close and got into your space and acknowledged you, right? Right? This person knows that you're sitting there. So for him to sit next to you, he's also acknowledging you, right? Okay, back to this, that's exactly where what these dot, if you put the dot here, put the dot here, here, and here's bad because you're acknowledging the corner, right? Here you're acknowledging the edge. And so that creates what's called visual tension. And visual tension can be, you know, a negative if you're trying to like put something together. So you want to avoid visual tension unless that's your idea. Like you want to make it so uncomfortable, right? But in this assignment, I don't want you to make it uncomfortable. I want you to make it dynamic. So your first project, I want you to make it, you know, so that your dots and lines and stuff are comfortable and harmonize and integrate and unify with each other. Okay, so hold on 1 second. You know, I'll just say right now, let me go away from this again. So I'll just say that, you know, if you can see like how much fuss like one dot in a square can be, you know, like considering the like dynamic, the symmetry, the, you know, the proximity, the balance, you know, if you consider all these things that are really just a dot in a square, just imagine when you add a third dimension, right? So when people are saying like, when they talk about three-dimensional chess, you know, it's a complete game changer. So let me ask you this: when you're working in with 2D, what are your tools? What do you work with, you know, to make a painting or a drawing?
Control Z.
What did you say? Control Z?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. What else do you do? What else do you use to make
The eraser.
Eraser is good, yeah.
Paper, pencil, like art brush, whatever, like physical materials you'd use to create it, like ink, paint.
Exactly, right. So like Bria's holding up, just regular pens, pencils, anything to make a mark, paintbrush, right? You know, once you get to graduate school, then it's body fluids. And then that's actually true. So but you're making marks, and almost always you're making, unless you're like doing a very thick impasto and you're experimenting with 3D, like, and I always get a little annoyed with painters that do that, but you're basically making an image, correct? All right, now, what if you're making something, anything in 3D? What are your materials then?
Plastic, clay.
Plastic and clay, sure.
Anything you can think of, really.
Say that again. Somebody said it right, and I just don't know who.
I said foam core.
I heard somebody say anything that you could think of.
Said anything you can think of.
Yeah.
That's correct. Everything you can get in your car is a material, right? Or actually, even the car could be a material. So now think about all the different things that you have to like learn and consider compared to that dot in the square, right? There's all kinds of things. Now we have to think about weight, volume, shadow, texture, right? We have to think about all the negative space, right? Those are things that you don't really need to consider so much in an image. So the difference is you're making an object as opposed to making an image. And there's, you'll see if you hang around art long enough, you'll see that people that work in 3D just sort of get this superiority complex. Like they just think that they're godlike because they're bringing objects into the world, you know? And I was guilty of that a little bit. But one of the things that you learn beyond that is that it's all just tools in your bag, right? It's all just like things that are at your disposal when you're trying to like get your idea across. So, you know, there's going to be a point where it's like, oh, I wish I could paint, or I wish I could sculpt right now, right? And the more things you can do, the more like processes that you can get under your belt, even using that X-Acto knife. Once you get it under your, you know, you can do it with a bit of comfort, then you'll always be able to do it. And it's something that you can draw on, and more of your ideas will be completed if you know more of the processes, right? So that's this class. This is the beginning of that. This is the beginning of trying to make objects instead of painting. First question I usually get is like, well, can we paint our objects? The answer is no. Well, the last project you can. First project, no, you can't. We're just doing foam board and white on white. And the idea is to like talk about elements and principles that start off 2D. And remember, this is a 3D class. So I want you to start to build off of the surface. And the most important thing about project one is to maximize the volume in your projects. So I know I said it once already, I'll say it a dozen times, people still won't get it, but the important thing about project one is to have volumetric, chunky, blocky pieces that, you know, that kind of stack like that. That's volume, right? Now you can take the exact same material, and if you fan it out, it's the same amount of mass, but it doesn't read as volume, right? It reads as like steps. So the way that you compose things is the way that, you know, your project will come out. So back to the proximity thing and projecting onto your project. So imagine that you're on a beach and you're walking and there's two people. This one isn't as creepy. So you're on a beach, you're walking, and two people are walking towards you. So there's basically a total of 3 people on the beach, and the other 2 are kind of walking in your direction. All right. So in your opinion, how close do they have to be until you make them a couple? Do you know what I mean? So how close are they until it's like, oh, 2 people, right? Or a couple, right? How far away do they be before you say, oh, it's 2 separate people, right? So there's, of course, everybody's different, right? Some people are like, well, they're on the same beach, they're a couple. And then some people are like, well, they're 6 feet apart, but one's ahead of each other, right? So if they're like holding hands, of course they're a couple. You would kind of hope, right? So I ask this because when you project and you're thinking about your project, your sense of comfort and your sense of distance is going to be different than the next person, right? It's going to be different than mine. So what I'm saying is, I don't want you to create for my sake. In other words, don't create for a grade. You're going to get a good grade anyway, probably, right? So create with your sensibilities and your voice and the way, you know, your sense of space and your sense of repetition and all these things are going to be important in this project. And then turns out it's important in every project, right? If you're able to get your voice into it. Okay, so I want to keep this from going like 2 hours. So what I like to do now is quickly go over the quiz that I want you to take by Sunday. And I feel like I'm forgetting something. Quiz, record, intro. All right. Do you guys have any questions up to this point? Do you have like questions? Is Canvas okay? Like, is there anything that's confusing so far? Right. This thing was built to be simple, right? And then my classes are always like that. It's built to be simple. That way I can clearly get to like what you need to learn and then teach you, and then you're on to the next thing. Okay, so
I have a question.
Yeah.
Where do you want us to get the supplies we need?
Okay, so first of all, oh, that's great. So let me ask you, are any of you not in California? Just raise your hand if you're not in California. So everybody's here. Okay, so is everybody like local, like Pasadena or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
No? Okay. Okay, so this is the thing. So if you're near Pasadena, you can go to Blix. Blix has everything when I last checked, which was this morning, right?
They're sold out of, well, it depends on which Blix you go to. They're sold out of a lot of their stuff, at least what I looked. But I'm not in Pasadena, so sorry.
Oh, you went to the one in Pasadena? What were they out of exactly?
No, I wasn't in the one in Pasadena, sorry. I live in West LA, so I went to the one in West LA.
Oh, got you.
Yeah, they were sold out of a lot of stuff.
Well, just because of, I mean, a lot of it's because of my class. The Blix in Pasadena usually overstocks the stuff that I ask, you know, the students to get. So there's a good chance that it is in stock in Pasadena. Okay, if Pasadena is too far or not workable, you can try and order it. But what I've heard is that there's a few things that are on back order, and it might take you an extra few days to get it, right?
I ordered mine.
Okay, so did they give you a date when it was going to come?
Tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it was like last week, like the time that I emailed you. That's the time that I just bought it.
Okay, good. So it's like it gets here in a week if you order it, right?
Yeah.
So in the summer class, I had a couple students from China, in China. And so I told them, you know, I didn't realize they were in China. And so I said, oh, order from Blix. And then of course, Blix orders from, they get all their stuff from China. So conceivably, all the stuff had to come from China to Blix, and then it was sent back to China to my students, right? So that took some time. And if there's, if you're in some situation where you can't get your material, and it doesn't matter to me, like if you don't have the money, or like whatever, you can like discreetly contact me on the side and we'll figure out how to get you your material, because I'd really rather just like leave tools on my doorstep and have you come pick them up rather than you having to wait 2 weeks for it to show up, right? So, but you know, try to get your materials by Sunday. And if you can't get it by then, let me know and then we'll work something out, okay? So that's the materials. Okay, so let's see, share screen. Okay, I was on Zoom. And we're gonna go to quizzes. Rules and essentials, that's us here. preview. Okay, so you can, you know, for all I care, you could just go down on the quiz and just fill it in as we do this. I don't mind. Or you can just write them down. All right, so question number 1, what's the first rule of 3D design or any class that I teach?
Be considerate.
Exactly. All right, number 2, what's the second rule of 3D design?
Oh, Hello
Love
Kitty.
No,
Hello
kitty.
You know what's weird? Everybody remembers that, but not be considerate. Just now thought of that. All right, what are good ways to communicate with me? Google
Um,
Of the
Hangout,
above.
inbox.
Inbox.
All of the above.
all of the above is correct.
Above.
Yes, thank you. So all of them are correct, but number 4, Hangouts is the best way to communicate with me.
True.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know how to use that.
Okay, that's fine. I made a tutorial video under Hangouts. So if you look in the communication module, there's a video and I explain step by step how to set up a Hangout with me. I'm gonna go back and make sure I put the right email in there, but it's the best way because you can, it's sort of like me giving you my number and you can text me at any time, right? It's better because I'll get your message immediately and I'll get it on my phone, right? And if you send me an email, I may be out in the shop, I may be at work, and I may not get it. And then if I get it late, I may not get to it till tomorrow, right? And also the emails can get lost because I get like 50 emails a day. And so it can get pushed down. But I mean, there's no absolutes. But in Hangouts, it's your best chance to communicate with me right away. And the reason that's important is because this isn't an art history class where you can Google the answer, you know. A lot of times you'll get stuck with a process and, you know, you'll need my help to continue. And so I try to make myself as available as possible for those situations. And Hangouts is the best. Plus, if you send me updates through Google Hangouts, I'll have a little history of our conversation all under your name. So when you contact me and you're saying, hey, do you remember my first project? You know, what did I get on that? I'll be like, I don't know. But if I have Hangouts, I can just like scroll up and I'll be like, oh, you got an A on that. Right? And then that's it. So it's easy for me to reference our correspondence through Google Hangouts. Okay, if you have an issue with Google sort of in general, like you think that they're the evil empire, I might agree with you. And if you have an issue with Google and you don't want to deal with Google, or you don't want Google invading your home and space and stuff, then I totally get it. And I would never count that against you. So we'll just work something else out. But in terms of communicating with me, Google Hangouts is the best. All right. What is the best way to interact with your classmates? Okay, so chat, or Canvas chat, Canvas discussion, and chat, hit them up on Instagram.
Third one, Canvas discussions and chat.
And I haven't used the chat before, so I haven't used it for the classes before this. So I'm just gonna leave that to you guys, and you guys can have it to communicate with each other. And it's the same with the discussion board. I'll set a discussion or, you know, a topic, but it doesn't have to be me. If you have like a question that's sort of general, or if you want students to other students to look at your work and to get feedback from other students, you can post it in the discussion section and have a full-on full-blown critique without me even looking at it, right? Okay, so
Is it a chat, individual, or group?
it's a group chat. It's just like on the Long Beach one, there's a little chat box in the bottom right-hand corner, but on this one, it's in this menu on the left, and you click it, and then a chat box will come up. But everybody in the class can also chat on there. So yeah, it's not a one-on-one. The only one-on-one is the Google Hangout, or if we have a Zoom meeting that's private. Okay. All right, so we talked about this. What occupations would benefit from a 3D design class?
All the above.
All above.
There we go. Yeah, all of those are good. We talked about this. What materials can you use to make 3D objects in sculpture?
Anything.
Basically anything.
Very good. Okay, we talked about this. Besides your project grades, what activity or lack thereof will help or hurt your final grade?
Participation.
That's right. This is really big. I mean, you know, I sort of judge my classes by, like, if I say, oh, that was a great class, what that almost always means is like the students helped each other out, and they you know, they were a group instead of a bunch of independent people. Okay. What should I do if I get stuck or have trouble with the process / materials?
Contact you.
Have my dad do it.
Yeah, have your dad do it, or anybody that's no. Oh, by the way, so I've been teaching 20 years. I've taught this class, I don't even know how many times now, like over 50. And last semester, the summer semester, I caught my first plagiarist. Busted her cold. Like, she tried to turn in a project that was that she just plucked off of Instagram. And the only reason I caught it was because it was so blatant. You know, it was for the Oregon project, and she turned in this like paper crane thing, and that's kind of actually the third rule is no paper cranes.
Hello?
And what's happening? Okay, so anyway, I've become really, really good at doing image searches. So I found her.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
We can.
Oh.
Okay. Who is that?
Someone that just signed on.
Okay. Well, we'll get back to that in a minute. All right. Hang in there, okay?
Trouble.
Okay, hold on. Let me finish this spot, and then I'll talk to you, okay? Okay.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, so anyway, her first project was sort of like a couple of abandoned paper cranes that she just threw in the corner. This is for the third project, right? And I was like, I don't even know where to start, because I pulled out my trash bin and it looked similar, right? And so she's like, oh, okay, I'll just redo it, right? So the next thing, she, like hours later, she turns in this incredible Japanese ikebana, right, display of many beautiful flowers that she had like folded out of paper. And then I was like, oh, come on. Like, you know, I'll let you slide on a lot of things. I'll even let you slide on cheating sometimes. But if you do it in such a stupid, stupid way, then that's the thing that sets me off, right? If you're clever, you can kind of get by. If you're not clever, it gets on my nerves first thing, right? So I told her, I found the image on the Japanese Instagram, And the person that made it 3 months before the class started. And also her name was Origami-chan 1515, right? So I went back to the student and I was like, hey, are you Origami-chan 1515? And then she was like, that's my friend. That's my friend, and she helped me with my project, right? So totally lied. Okay, I still didn't flunk her. Then I realized that her other project was also, I found it on the internet, right? So I still didn't flunk her, right? And so basically I was like, hey, all right, let's make this a success story, right? So I did make her work almost to the point of being like, not abusive, but I was really mean. I was really mean at that point. And I made her report to me every hour that she worked on her project. So every hour she sent me a photo of her working on the project, and I passed her in the class. And I think I even gave her a B. So that's my level of like grading. Like I don't grade hard, but I just I just sort of like want you to put an effort in, and I want you to be smart about what you do. Don't try to cheat and like be like, oh, I'll be smart about it. I want you to like think through these things for your own benefit. And I'll say this again and again. This class is, it's kind of like every class in a sense, in that you'll get what you make it, right? You'll make it whatever you want it to be. So for example, I a couple months ago, I looked up how they teach this class in Ivy League schools, like at Brown and Yale, right? Sure enough, it's taught the same way, same information, right? I personally think my class is better, but it doesn't matter because it's always going to be what you make it anyway. So if you want this to be an Ivy League experience, whatever that is online now, then you can make it that way if you have the mindset of just trying to better yourself or to learn stuff, right? And so if you're like, well, I just need a C or B, that's, C's get degrees, you'll get it and it'll be fine. I won't care, right? And everybody will just go their separate way. But what I'm saying is that you're, especially in Pasadena, you're in a really good situation if you're studying design. Design, like in terms of community colleges, Pasadena City College is elite. They're in terms of their design department, right? And that's because, frankly, they pay the most. And second is because, I don't know, we're a feeder school to Art Center, right? Which is another premier design school. So if you're studying design, interior design, fashion design, car design, anything with the word design on it, also sculpture, right? Floral arrangements, anything like that, you're in the right spot, and you're off to a good start. But again, it's just going to be what you make it, right? So I'm just saying, take advantage. You're lucky to be here. Okay. So do you guys have any questions about the class, about anything? Yeah.
We didn't do number 10 for the quiz.
Oh.
Sorry.
That's right. Okay. See, that's extra credit in my head for just paying attention. You know what I mean? All right. Okay. Oh, it's an important one too. Where is the best place to check due dates, Zoom meetings, and virtual office hours?
Syllabus.
Syllabus.
Not the
Canvas
best.
calendar.
Canvas calendar.
Yeah. And the calendar, I just want to say that out of all the stuff on Canvas, I worked the hardest on the calendar, getting the dates right, getting everything right. It's a lot harder than it might sound, because out of all the coursework, out of all the things that I transferred from different schools, out of the classes last semester, there's dates and semesters everywhere, and so I basically like went through it as good as I could, and I put all the dates correctly in the calendar. So that's not to say that there's not mistakes in there, but it's your best bet to getting the dates right. So if you're reading the syllabus and you're like, that sounds like summer, it probably was summer. And so, if you're looking through the syllabus and there's, in the project, in the calendar section, if something sort of reads off, it might be a mistake. But the calendar is as correct as I can get it. Okay, so dates and stuff, check with the calendar. Yeah. All right. Any other questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
Is the Zoom meetings always gonna be on Mondays?
Yes and no. So the Zoom meetings are going to be on Mondays, but there's only going to be 4 of them, right? And maybe one at the end of the semester, besides this one. So what's going to happen is I'm trying to make the due dates for all of your projects on Sunday night. That way you have the weekend, to finish the projects, which is an advantage over face-to-face class. And so you'll turn your projects in by Sunday night, and it makes sense to start the next project the next day, right? So on Mondays, I'll start each project with a Zoom meeting, and there's only 4 projects. So I'll start each project with a Zoom meeting. And then maybe at the end of the semester, we'll have one more Zoom meeting. But part of that is like how these Zoom meetings go. Like if I turn on this, if I have a Zoom meeting and like 4 people come, then I'm not gonna have one at the end of the semester. Okay, so if you guys enjoy them, then we can have more, right? And we can make it a social thing, and you have a Zoom. Where are we? We could have a Zoom Halloween if you wanted to, whatever. But that's up to you. And you guys plan that. You guys can. And the thing is like, you have the link. You guys can have a meeting without me. I think you can just sign on, and I don't, until there's some issue with it, you guys can meet up on Zoom in this class, in this, Zoom classroom, and talk and stuff, and have group things and chats by yourself. And then if it becomes some sort of issue, then I'll require, oh, that reminds me too. In September, they're gonna require a passcode, like a meeting code. And but it'll be the same thing. I'll just put the meeting code with the link, and so it'll always be there. You don't have to memorize it or anything. So, but feel free to experiment, and you can get on the Zoom and click around and get used to it as a format. So anyway, so our classes aren't on Tuesday. No, so the Zoom meetings, this is, it's an asynchronous class. In other words, I can't require you to come to any meetings at all. I can just require you only to turn in your projects, and I can require you to update me on your projects, right? Other than that, I can't keep you to a set schedule. So these meetings, they're all voluntary, right? And but the reason I recommend them is because I give you the answers for the quiz at some point, and that's valuable because the quizzes are kind of worth a lot. And also, if you've ever tried to watch a Zoom meeting recording, it's awful. It's like watching the worst movie you've ever seen, and then with, you know, there's no plot, there's no character development. Well, not really, you know, and it's just, you can speed it up, but then that makes it extra weird. I recommend, if you can, and I really appreciate it if you come to the meetings. I can't force you to do that, but I want you to do that. Okay. So really your only responsibility is to, like, you know, come do your coursework, do the quizzes once a week. I mean, when we have our project meeting, you're responsible to watch it at some point. In other words, you can skip the meeting, but you need to, like, watch it at some point. That's, I can require you to do. Yeah, so it's called asynchronous, right? So let me ask you really quick, how many of you have had an online class before? Most of you, okay, or half maybe. All right. So what I'm going to ask you is, like, I'm still new at the online game. So if you see something that you'd rather, if you see a mistake or something you'd rather see, or I'm doing something wrong, then let me know right away, and I won't be irritated or embarrassed or anything like that. So I'm wide open to your advice.
I have a question.
Sure.
Yeah, since you said we only meet for four meetings, can we like what you call it, like privately meet upon you, like, to update our projects? Like, for example, for the project one, we're gonna meet now, right? So if I have questions, I can just, like, answer you. Like, for example, I have questions for this, then I can just, like, meet you up, like, privately, something like that.
Thank you for asking that. That brings up a good point. So no, so Chen, the meetings for each project, so four meetings for the whole semester, right? We're only going to meet basically once a month, right? Okay. So okay, about the individual questions, so I have listed on the calendar, I have the lab time for you, and you don't need to make an appointment. And it turned out to be super fun because, like, students would show up and we talk about design a little bit, but then we mostly shoot the breeze. And then, you know, there were students that came a lot, and it was just kind of fun. So you're welcome to do that. And if there's other students in there, you can just hang out, and they might have a similar question, you know, as you. So then they end up being like these sort of group tutorials, which is, that worked out pretty well. In addition to that, if you want specific private, this is sort of like private tutoring, you can arrange a half an hour with me every week. And the half an hour, it almost always ends up being an hour or 45 minutes or something like that. But if you're having trouble, you're not getting it, you're having trouble with the mechanics of it, you know, the X-Acto just won't work for you, you can set up a private, an individual meeting, and we'll just meet right here in this classroom and in this Zoom room, and I'll help you, like, one-on-one. And if, you know, if it's like, oh, a couple of you want to pair off and you have the same questions, we can do, like, kind of a double group meeting, you know, or individual meeting. or small groups. It doesn't, it doesn't matter to me. The most important point is that I just want you guys to be in touch with me as much as possible with your progress and questions. And I want you to hopefully engage with each other as much as possible and help each other out first. So you might go like, oh, okay, I'm going through this design. I don't think this is a question like I need to wait for, office hours. I'll just post it on discussions, see what everybody thinks, and then maybe I can go from there, right? And so it works best if we have this kind of, not to get into like politics or anything, but this works, it just works better when we help each other and think about each other instead of ourselves, right? Okay, so that's it for the meeting.
That's a good saying, Professor.
Thank you. What is your name?
Oh, my name is Stephen. Stephen Brousseau.
Oh, okay. You're Stephen Brousseau. Thank you. Uh-huh.
Oh, the reason why I was yelling hello because there wasn't any speaking level in my microphone. That's why I did that.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay, Stephen. So,
Professor, would it be okay if I left the meeting and rejoined it on my computer?
well, we're just about done. So, yeah, if you want to watch it again, you can. I'll have the recording. It takes a while for it to process, and then I try to upload it to YouTube and then download it again. So it takes a while for it to process, but if you want to, like, I noticed you missed part of the meeting, so if you want to talk with me, if you want to come to like the office hours, that would be fine with me. So you can just show up during the office hours at this very same link, and we can catch you up if you get behind on anything, okay?
Okay, it's because I was having a private art class. That's why I actually meant to email you ahead of time to let you know I wasn't going to come. But I forgot.
It's okay. It's all right. I appreciate that when if you're not going to make it for some reason, to like give me a heads up, and that way I can say, oh, okay, well, I'll do a recording, and is there anything you want me to go over, etc. So I try to make it like the idea and what the school is telling me is that we're doing this asynchronous format because first of all, everybody's freaked out. Second of all, we have, because of the situation now, our schedules are all crazy. We're working weird hours, we're up weird hours, we're paying attention in only short little windows. So the idea of this asynchronous class is to sort of understand, is sort of to sort of work with that idea of everything being in chaos. That's the other thing I want you to think about in this class. I don't want you to stress over this class. If I could make a rule like don't stress over this class, I would make the rule, because we're all under even the most minimal amount of stress. Like I would say I have the least amount of stress, right? Because I just got a new house and I'm just locked up in my new house, and I'm happy. All I have to do is go out to my shop and make stuff, So I'm in this weird little bliss. But there's serious things going on out in the world, and I know that you're under a lot of stress. So I want you to think about this class as a way to relax. And the projects, I designed them especially to not stress you out, right? So, I've never had origami in my class before. And so I want you to think of these projects as some, just to keep your hands busy and your mind off of things. And if you do that, you'll find that the work itself becomes much easier. And then I think with all that, you'll benefit from the class. Okay. So I'll leave you with that. And if you have questions now, hold on to them. Oh, go ahead, Bria.
I just wanted to say I appreciate you saying that about the class being relaxing, because I was actually very like nervous, even though it's like something that's my passion. But it's just like with everything going on, it's like, you know, it's hard not to like be nervous about new things. But I'm glad this is like something I really look forward to. So thank you.
Thank you for saying that. No, I appreciate that. And, you know, and to be honest, I try to make all my classes like that, but it's especially now because, you know, we're having just the weirdest stresses, you know, and, oh, you know, I gotta tell you, okay. So I hope none of you guys are like anti-maskers and like, anti-mask, 5G, chemtrail.
Karens.
Oh no.
My mom. It's so awful. It's so awful. She's getting on Facebook and she's like,
No.
she's like, don't wear a mask. The government's just trying to manipulate you, right? So she, of course, she's friends with all my friends, and so my friends are like, Jesus, what is your mom is she trying to get us killed? You know? Anyway. So I don't know why you but yeah. So wear a mask in public. Don't go to, just stay home. Just stay home, wear your mask, don't listen to my mom, and try to relax. And we'll get through the course. I feel like the thing that I'm able to do the best is that I can quickly read your ability. I'm like a witch. I can like quickly read what you can do, and I almost instantaneously basically like come up with a schedule and a level of difficulty for you. And so the reason I do that is because there's students that are that are used to this kind of work, and they get way ahead really fast. And there's students that have never done anything like this before. So I also want to make this like, those are the ones that get stressed, right? The people that have like never worked like this. So I want to make it as sort of custom as possible. And that's why I'm trying to stay as available as possible, because there's stuff you just can't look up on the internet in this class. Okay, so are there any other questions that you had? And
yes.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
I want to ask you some questions about like the clarification for the materials we need to get for next week.
Sure.
For the white foam board, do you just want us to get one, or?
Oh, okay. So like at Blix, it comes in 20 by 30, right? And usually 2 are enough, sometimes 3. So if you get 3, you're safe. Right?
Oh, what do you mean by 3? Like 3 pieces? Like
3
3 pieces or 3 packs?
No, not the pack. Yeah, the pack has 10, right? So yeah, 3 pieces total.
Oh, like,
okay.
Not 6 pieces?
But did you hear that? Sir's gonna buy it for everyone. So.
Wait, so not 6 pieces, right?
Not 6 pieces. 3 pieces is enough.
Okay.
I don't know. I might have put something different on the syllabus, but the project's changed a little.
For the sketchbook, does it have to be 8.5 by 11?
Ballpark. Yeah. If it's, you know, if it's about that size, or
I have a 9 by 12.
That's fine.
That works.
That's perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. All right.
I have a question about the ruler.
Okay.
Is this okay?
Yeah, I think so. Can you flip it? Does it have a cork backing?
Like this one?
Yeah, I think April has the exact right one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that April has the right one. And yours is, sir, yours is fine. Yeah, it'll work fine.
For the pencil, does it have to be 3B?
No, did I put that?
Yeah.
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 Whoa, I need to go back and look at that. No, I just basically wanted a soft pencil. So what happens is people will go too light, and I can't see their drawings when they take a picture. That's why I put that.
Oh, so is anything less dark?
Anything that's dark, right? Right. And if you're kind of like thinking ahead and you're getting your wire already, you can only get the black wire from Home Depot.
How about the length? Like how? Wait. What kind of wire, by the way? That will be my question. Like.
Okay, you know what? I shouldn't have said that because we'll get to that part. Yeah, basically the idea is like I want contrast, right? So when you're drawing, I want the lines to be nice and dark so I can see them when you send your picture from your iPhone to me. When people use just a regular pencil, sometimes it's too light and I can't see it, and that's the only reason for that. Okay. And so a lot of the, once you get your materials and you have them, and during the week, you can, you know, if you're at Blix or if you're at Michael's and you're like, hey, is this fine? And you take a picture and you send it through Hangouts, I'll immediately get it and I'll say, yeah, I get it. You can be waiting in line and we can have finished that whole process, right? If you have to email me, then the whole thing gets held up. So that's another advantage of having a Google Hangout.
I have a question. Google Hangouts can be on the phone too, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Like in the.
Okay. All
We
right.
only need the sketchbook for the first project, right?
Definitely. Yeah. You'll need
So is it cool if I use like an old one that's like half used?
Definitely, for sure. And
okay.
I actually prefer when you don't spend money. Like I'm very conscious about you guys spending money, and you know, so if you can use an old one, bigger one, or smaller one, if it's free, it's better. Yeah. So you know, you can kind of keep whatever you can do to save money. That's you know, that's something I focus on. By the way. This is my dog. This is Ellie. And
Hi. Is it a boy or girl?
It's a girl.
Oh, what's her name again?
Nellie.
Nellie?
Yeah, she's always right here. So, and usually she's begging. So when you hear her begging, it's this one. Right. Okay. So if you have other questions, or if you think of other questions, you can email me. You can put it, you know, you can start a Hangout already. You know, you can try the chat, I guess. I don't know about the chat. I saw somebody wrote in the chat and I missed it by like 3 days. So maybe not the chat. But go get your stuff, and then next Monday, we'll have another meeting, and then we won't have a meeting for about a month, okay? So I will see you, April, did you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question. Are the meetings always at nighttime?
Yeah, I think for your, I think I have them scheduled at 6 p.m. every single time. And
I'm only asking because I work during the day, so I would miss them if they weren't at night. So yeah.
Okay, yeah, they're always going to be at night, and then they'll always be recorded, so you can watch them at some point.
Okay.
All right, well, you guys have a good night. I think this was a long day for me. I had 2 other classes, so I'm gonna go have a drink now. All right, so I'll see you guys next week, and stay in touch.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, Professor.
Bye, Professor.
Yes, sir.
Oh, before okay, sir. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I arrived late. So, what did I miss?
Okay, so it's Stephen, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Stephen, you missed kind of a lot. And so what I would like you to do is later on tonight, log on to Canvas, and then I would like you to watch the recording of the Zoom meeting. And it'll be in the first module under start here, right? That module. Got it?
All right. And what's our first project?
Our first project is lower leaf foam board, and we're studying volume. And it's in the syllabus. So the syllabus is in the same spot. And so you're able to get on Canvas, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So what I want you to do is to get on Canvas and start with the checklist for week 1 and go down the checklist and try to check off all the boxes, all the items.
All right. Look over checklist.
Right.
And hey, Dad. Yes. Yeah. I'm saying hi. Oh, sorry. That's my daddy left. And look over checklist. And what was that? What else was I gonna ask? And you're an artist, right?
Yeah, I'm a sculptor, but now I just make stuff, so I consider myself just a maker.
Did you go to UCLA or Art Center?
No, I didn't. I went to University of Hawaii, and then I went to Claremont.
Oh, for grad school?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. And I'm still a PCC student, but so look over checklist, log on to Zoom meeting and watch recording. And what are going to be on the quizzes?
Okay, so when you watch the recording, I basically gave all the answers to the quiz. So all the answers are on the recording. So you'll be able to immediately take the quiz right after you watch the recording.
And when is the quiz due?
On Sunday night.
Okay. And how do I take the quiz on Canvas?
So here, I'm going to share a screen with you really quick. Okay, do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so whenever you get sort of lost and you don't know where to go, just hit the home button. And the home button takes me to all the modules in the class. So everything in the class for the whole semester is right on this page, right? And
okay, I'll follow along. I'm going. I'm going back onto Canvas myself.
Okay.
All right, design 3-dimensional, and go to home. Okay, so is it under? Okay, 3D design start here.
So.
Okay.
All right, good. So listen. So when the recording gets done, I'm going to put it right here at the bottom of this first module. So it'll be right here, and you can click on it and watch it. Okay.
Okay. Right. And when is the recording? And when are you going to post the recording?
It's going to take a while to process, but by tonight, sometime, probably like 10:30 maybe, and by tomorrow for sure.
And how many projects for the semester?
4.
4
Yeah,
projects.
correct.
Projects first semester. There's 4 projects.
Right.
Semester 3 birds.
Okay, so listen.
That's weird.
So when you're ready to take
Really?
the quiz, what you'll do is you'll go to quizzes, and the first quiz is 3D design rules and essentials. You'll click on that, and then from my side, it just gives me a preview, right? But on your side,
Yes.
you'll be able to take the quiz if you just click on it.
Okay, and we could, and there is studying required, right?
Definitely, yeah, but it's mostly work and practice.
So we have to remember like terms, right?
Yeah, although the terms will show up in the quizzes, and I'll go over the quizzes. So if you make it to the meetings, you shouldn't have to like study and research too much. You should be able to like get your answers for the quizzes and for the like vocabulary and that kind of thing if you come to the meetings or if you watch the meetings.
All right.
All right. Okay, so very good. And if you have questions, you know, you can just email me, and I can, or if you can set up a Hangout, then you can ask me questions right away.
Like on Zoom, like how do I set up a Hangout?
Okay, so what I want you to do also tonight is go to, you'll go to the second module here, which is class communication, and you'll click on Hangouts, and you'll watch my video that I carefully put together, and it shows you how to connect with me. And 3D design,
Right.
PCC, yeah.
So wait, where do I go to again?
Okay, so if you're lost, you go to the home, and then just scroll down a little bit, and to the second module where it says class communications, and you click on Hangouts right here. Click on Hangouts,
Right.
and that'll take you to my video.
All right, go to Google Hangouts.
Yeah.
Under module 2.
Yeah. The module says, doesn't say module 2, but it does say class communication, Canvas, Zoom, etc. It's the class communication module.
And what do I do next? All right, I'm on Hangouts.
What's that?
I'm on Hangouts.
Just watch your just watch the video and set up a Hangout when you get a chance.
Watch video and set up a Hangout.
Right.
And how do I set up the Hangout?
It'll tell you in the video.
After video. I just want to make sure that I'm doing this correctly. That's why I'm asking a lot of questions.
Okay.
Okay. And you said we meet only once a month. Am I right?
Right. So we'll meet next Monday.
Oh.
And so you should always check the calendar on campus for the meetings. And then we have a meeting at the start of every project. So we're gonna start the project next Monday, right? And we'll have a meeting to start the project. Then we won't
First
meet.
project starts Monday.
Right. And the meeting's at 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. Wait, no, sorry, 6 p.m.
Right. First project starts Monday.
Right.
PM.
Right, 6 p.m.
Show up on time. I'm putting that as a reminder.
Good idea.
Okay. Assignment number 1 is the quiz.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Take 3D design quiz. And in the video you're going to design quiz and in the video, wait one sec. And in the video you're going to mention what we have to do, right?
Right, yeah.
The one you're going to upload to Canvas, and you're going to explain what all the terms are for the quiz, and we have to like write down the terms, and then we just take them.
Correct.
So you're like giving us the answers in the video.
Absolutely correct.
What term? Okay, it won't be appropriate to ask you what terms we have to know.
Right. So do what you can. That's already a lot to chew on. So why don't you make sure you watch the video, take the quiz, try to set up a hangout, and get your material. And if you can get those things done, you're in good shape. Got it?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right. Well, I have to have dinner, so I'm going to take off. But if you have questions and stuff, you can email me in the beginning. Okay.
Okay. Not a.
Okay. So Stephen, thanks for signing up for the class, and I'll see you soon. All right. Bye.